Vegan shoes, private jet pollution, and a costly cooking show. Brooklyn Beckham has grown up in the spotlight, and a lot of people have spoken up about him. In 2015, Brooklyn Beckham posed for the cover of Miss Vogue and told the magazine that he wanted to study photography in college. The following year, the luxury label Burberry hired him as the photographer for an ad campaign. Beckham was just 16, and some experienced photographers couldn't believe that he'd been handed a gig that big. In an interview with The Guardian, professional photographer Chris Floyd said, "It's sheer nepotism." But a Burberry exec argued that Beckham's Instagram photography proved that he was capable enough for the job.
So all those people that bleated saying he got that because of it, they're really good, aren't they?
Yeah, and they're actually great shots.
Beckham's godfather Elton John also weighed in, explaining to Metro, "It's like when you do a runway show and you send all the great stuff down that doesn't make it to the shops, but it gets in the papers. It's the publicity." Beckham told Sky News that his experience posing in front of the camera had helped him hone his photography skills, as it allowed him to watch established pros in action. He even released his own photography book, What I See, in 2017, but some Twitter critics were unimpressed by his blurry images and captions, one of which read, "Elephants in Kenya, so hard to photograph but incredible to see." As for his human subjects, they didn't always seem to respect his artistic process. Brooklyn told W Magazine, "Sometimes I just approach strangers and don't even ask and take their photos so I get a cool reaction, like if they're mad at me." In 2018, Brooklyn caused an outcry on Instagram after sharing a photo he snapped during a trip to Italy. In it, he showed a group of Asian people who were either locals or sightseers enjoying the same sights that he was there to see. Beckham captioned the image, "No place like Italy" in it. Some of his followers took this to mean that he found the presence of the people in the picture unwelcome, and if he assumed that they weren't locals, why was it okay for him to visit the country but not them? The backlash got so bad that Beckham deleted the image and made his Instagram private. A year prior, some of his followers had accused him of cultural appropriation. When Beckham got tattooed for the first time, the design he chose was the profile of a Native American chief wearing a feather headdress. In a since-deleted post, he revealed that it was inspired by his dad's similar tattoo. The ink was even done by the same artist, Mark Mahoney.
Your first tattoo, if you're going to have one, your first tattoo, I want to be there, just to experience it as a dad.
One of Brooklyn's earliest high-profile romances was with former child star Chloe Grace Moretz. He was first romantically linked to the actor in 2014, and the pair dated on and off for years. After a long break and a reconciliation in 2017, Moretz told Us Weekly, "I think we chose each other. It's just one of those things. You come back and it's like no time spent away from each other at all." Beckham and Moretz split for good the following year, sometime after Valentine's Day. By April 2018, Beckham and Lexi Wood were spotted getting cozy, with ET sharing photos of the two kissing. Not long afterward, Moretz referenced the Cardi B song Be Careful on her Instagram stories. The track is about infidelity, so was it potentially meant to be a hint that she suspected Beckham of being unfaithful during their relationship? We may never know for sure, but Moretz did seem to throw some shade at her ex when she was asked about him during an August 2018 interview with The Times. By then, Beckham had already dated and gotten dumped by musician Lexi Pantera per ET. After complaining about getting notifications on her phone about what she called a certain relationship, Moretz said, "I'm not a big fan of PDAs in general. I personally don't want to see people posted all over my phone making out." In 2017, Brooklyn told W Magazine that his mom encouraged him to go to school in New York to study photography, and he enrolled in Parsons School of Design. He also landed an internship working alongside Nick Knight, who had once photographed his mother for the cover of Vogue. But in 2018, Brooklyn dropped out of Parsons after a year. A source told The Mirror, "It sounds as if he was truly homesick and was feeling lonely out there. He adores his family." Victoria Beckham was reportedly happy that he returned home. As far as his dreams of being a professional photographer were concerned, all was not yet lost. He had scored another internship with the renowned British photographer Rankin, and in 2019, sources told The Sun that Brooklyn was an enthusiastic study. However, an insider also said, "Everyone knew Brooklyn's work needed fine-tuning, but no one knew his knowledge of the simplest tasks was so off. He's lacking in most areas." A source even cracked a cruel joke about how his only talent was being able to push the shutter button to at least take a photo. Brooklyn eventually gave up pursuing photography as a career and maybe tried to rewrite history a bit by downplaying its importance in his life. He told Variety in 2022, "I still have all my film cameras, but now it's just more of a fun thing to do. They were kind of all hobbies." In December 2018, Brooklyn debuted his relationship with model Hannah Cross. Naturally, he photographed her and shared the results with his Instagram followers. The consensus seemed to be that Cross bore a striking resemblance to Victoria Beckham during her posh years. But while Brooklyn and his muse made some pretty amazing art together, the spice they brought to each other's lives wasn't always the good kind. According to The Sun, they were spotted having a heated argument after watching a Youngblood performance in March 2019, with a source saying, Brooklyn had sunk a few beers and ended up getting into a row with Hannah. The following month, the Irish Mirror published photos of the couple looking distressed as they appeared to shout and argue inside a car. In yet another emotionally charged moment, they reportedly had a blowout fight at the Cannes Film Festival in May 2019. They were spotted yelling at each other while dining outdoors at the Hotel Martinez. A source told The Sun, Hannah confronted Brooklyn and lashed out, and security waded in. All of this explosive behavior reportedly made it difficult for Victoria and David Beckham to support their son's relationship. An insider shared, they're hoping this is just a phase, and he will soon focus entirely on his photography career, which is now really beginning to flourish. Well, at least Brooklyn's parents got part of their wish when he and Cross parted ways in September 2019. After his relationship with Hannah Cross ended, Brooklyn was spotted with his ex Lexi Pantera, but soon he found himself desperately smitten with Nicola Peltz. Beckham had actually met her before at Coachella, but Nicola told Wonderland of their 2017 encounter, "We really didn't get along. He had a girlfriend and I had a boyfriend." While The Sun reported that he'd been spotted with Hailey Bieber at that year's festival, the Daily Mail published photos of Beckham posing with Pantera. When fate brought Nicola and Beckham back together in 2019, they fell for each other fast. The following year, they spent the beginning of the pandemic together at the Palm Beach estate of Nicola's billionaire dad, Nelson Peltz, and her mom, Claudia Hefner, per Bustle. After getting a small taste of domestic bliss with Nicola, Beckham decided that he wanted so much more of it that he proposed in July 2020. In an interview with the US Sun, Pantera weighed in on her ex's marriage plans, saying, "Honestly, Brooklyn is not ready for that. He is very young and way too immature. He has a new chick every month." She also revealed that nothing romantic happened between her and Beckham at Coachella in 2017, but confirmed that she and Beckham had briefly reconnected before he started dating Nicola. She added, "We are not together anymore because of his immature ways and him not being a good friend." After they went Instagram official, Brooklyn and Nicola began regularly sharing photos of themselves together on the social media platform. There were kisses and intimate selfies galore, but a September 2020 photo of Beckham grabbing Peltz's neck didn't sit well with some. Peltz was laughing in the image, which the Bates Motel actor posted on her own Instagram account. But the Iranian and Kurdish women's rights organization, a nonprofit that helps Afghan, North African, and Middle Eastern girls and women who are victims of domestic violence or at risk of being victimized in the UK, didn't view the playful pic as a laughing matter. The charity's founder, Diana Nami, shared, per the Daily Mail, "Even if it's a joke, it is disgusting, in my opinion." The image struck a nerve with Nami because many female victims of honor-based violence are killed by strangulation, adding, "I think this is sending a very wrong message." But Peltz ignored Nami's call to delete the picture. The following month, Peltz celebrated 1 year of dating Beckham by letting everyone know what a great guy he is. She captioned 2 Instagram photos of herself and her boyfriend taking a bath together with the words, "You have the most beautiful heart I've ever known, and anyone in your life is lucky to be in it." The images showed a more tender side of Beckham. In one of them, he kissed Peltz on the forehead while gently cradling her neck. Life was looking pretty good for Brooklyn in September 2021. He was engaged to a gorgeous heiress and got to attend the Met Gala with her. However, the exclusive event's livestream host for Vogue, Nope star Keke Palmer, didn't seem to know who he was. And when Palmer asked Beckham where he was from, he missed the opportunity to show her his Made in England tattoo.
Where are you from?
I'm from London.
Oh, from London.
Little did Palmer know that she'd met a culinary star in the making. The following month, Beckham surprised Today viewers by appearing in a cooking segment. He chose to make a breakfast sandwich and got brutally roasted on Twitter for leaving the bread untoasted, among other things. One user wrote, "Was this meant to be a joke?" But the tweet heat didn't keep Beckham out of the kitchen, and he found himself spinning on the twit spit again when TikToker Daniel Mack spotted him driving his $1.2 million McLaren P1 sports car in August 2022. Mack filmed himself as he said to Beckham,
"Hey man, what do you do for a living? Your car's awesome."
Oh my god, I know you.
Yeah, Daniel Mack, you seen it?
man.
What's up, bro?
I'm a chef.
You're a chef?
Yeah.
Really? Are you like the best chef in the...
In response to the video, one commenter joked that Beckham was actually able to afford the vehicle because he's a chef, child of handsome ex-footballer. Beckham later admitted to Bustle, "I'm not a professional chef at all. I've never said that. I never would say that." Brooklyn didn't have to become a professional chef to land his own Facebook Watch cooking show, Cookin' with Brooklyn. Instead, he invited some of his famous friends from the culinary world to teach him their skills as he filmed the series in 2021. Insiders told the New York Post that the large production team Beckham hired to help him with the series was more like one you'd find working on a television show, and it reportedly cost around $100,000 per episode to produce. One source said, apparently the guy has to be shown really super basic things and has a cheat sheet of expressions from whisk to parboil, several illustrated with pictures. But what Beckham lacked in ability, he made up for in enthusiasm and determination. He'd discovered his passion for filming cooking videos during the pandemic, recalling to Vogue, "Nicola started videoing me, and I started posting it, and people started to really like it." After he launched his show, he kept filming shorter videos for Instagram, even though they provided foodies with plenty of fodder to roast his culinary skills with, such as his decision to cook while wearing his dog in a sling. He's also been criticized for using expensive ingredients in his recipes. In response to Beckham's demonstration of how he generously sprinkles shaved truffle on a tagliatelle pasta dish, someone wrote, "I wish I could afford the idea of no such thing as too much truffle." In his role as a Together Band ambassador, Brooklyn provided a platform for young climate activists to share their urgent messages about how climate change is harming the planet. In a September 2020 video profiling one such activist, Beckham revealed that he attended his first climate march in 2019. Like many young people, he's clearly concerned about climate change. He's also in the unique position to contribute more to global warming than a vast majority of most people his age. Per The Mirror, this is what he did when he used a private plane during the holidays in December 2020. When a passenger chooses to fly on a private jet, they're causing up to 14% more carbon pollution than a commercial passenger, according to Transport and Environment. When GQ talked to Beckham about his environmentalism in March 2021, he didn't mention his carbon footprint and focused on water conservation instead. He was, after all, promoting Pepe Jean's Wiser Future collection, which uses less water during production than your average denim clothing. He said, "I do the basics, like not letting the water run when I brush my teeth, measure out my water for tea, and I do not let the water run when I shower." In addition to wearing Pepe jeans, Beckham told Vogue that he borrows his father-in-law's jeans, so that's another way to cut down on denim water waste, right? In November 2021, Brooklyn got to put the old modeling skills to use when the popular clothing company Superdry offered him a £1 million contract to be one of its brand ambassadors. A source told The Sun, "This is a huge opportunity for Brooklyn and will cement him as a real name in the men's fashion world." But it didn't take long for his role to come under scrutiny. In January 2022, Beckham shared an Instagram photo of himself rocking a pair of Superdry's vegan sneakers. Per the Daily Mail, a number of his followers responded to the post by pointing out that Beckham has confessed to being a big meat eater. Just days earlier, he had revealed that he particularly loves a juicy steak in one of his videos, so there was arguably a conflict of interest here.
I love making it probably just as much as I enjoy eating it.
8 months after Beckham got the Superdry job, the company announced that it was parting ways with the red meat enthusiast. A rep for the brand said, "We always review the ambassadors who feature in our campaigns and decided to work with a different range of talent." But someone out there had faith in Beckham's ability to cook up something else just as big. In March 2022, he signed with the Hollywood talent agency CAA. Brooklyn and Nicola's April 2022 wedding at the Palm Beach home of Peltz's parents was the talk of the tabloids long after it was over, and it wasn't because the couple's vows were just that moving. In August 2022, sources told Page Six that there was a lot of bad blood between Victoria Beckham and Peltz because Posh Spice was being iced out of helping plan the wedding. In an interview with Grazia, Peltz denied that any family feuding had been going on and shared a theory about the source of the rumors to the contrary. She explained that she had wanted to wear one of her mother-in-law's designs down the aisle, but Victoria was unable to help her make this happen, adding, "A few days went by and I didn't hear anything. Victoria called my mom and said her atelier couldn't make it. So Valentino it was." David Beckham was reportedly livid over Peltz talking to the press about the dress drama and confronted his son about it. A source told the Daily Mail, "I don't think David has ever lost his temper with Brooklyn or had cause to talk to him harshly, but that has now finally happened. He had it out with him and told him, 'We don't do this in our family, and you know that we don't do this in our family.'"
What makes you happy, you just do that. And, it took me a few years to find out what I love, but I found it.
Brooklyn doesn't feel any pressure to find his true calling. He told Bustle, "It's okay to be 25, 26, or even 30 and not know what you're doing yet. You know what I mean?" This is actually something his mom has some experience with. While performing with the Spice Girls made Victoria Beckham a global superstar, it wasn't until she launched her clothing line that she felt a real sense of accomplishment. She told Vogue in 2012, "I worked very hard, but it took a long time for me to find something to say, oh, I'm not bad at this, and I found that with what I'm doing now." Posh had to ignore the haters and do her thing, and it seems that Brooklyn is doing the same. He told BuzzFeed, "I think people are always going to say rubbish. I've kind of gotten to that point where I'm going to get it forever, and that's totally fine. I'm happy and working hard and trying to do good things." He also has some pretty powerful people rooting for him, and we're not just talking about his family. Gordon Ramsay defended Brooklyn's cooking career to the Daily Mail, saying that he was pleased to see him pursuing his passion. So, for a Nepo baby like Brooklyn, the world really is his oyster, and the wannabe chef can keep dressing it in different ways until he finds the one that tastes just right.